Jai Sachidanand. We commenced the last session on the first day of the Parayan of 2011 on Aptavani 4, August 25th, 2011. The last session is in the evening after the break, and this has to do with the question and answer sessions on what has been read so far. So let us begin now. Jai Sachidanand. Page 55, question. What is the question of page 55, Aptavani 4? What is your question? Ajit Purusharth is that which brings success. Otherwise, for endless lives, a person can go back and forth and nothing will happen. This is because these are the efforts of the ignorant one. And the ignorant one cannot dispel ignorance. Ajit has these questions. These are the kind of questions. Number one. So therefore Purusharth can be fruitless too? Deepak Bhai says yes, Purusharth can be without fruits with reference to liberation, but he may continue to move into the positive from the negative, but he will not. But people say that I am doing Purusharth, I am doing everything that is worthy in this life. But then when he asks you who are you, then say I am Ajit, I am Uwe, I am Jeff. Then all of that Purusharth really ends up into failure with reference to liberation. Yes, that is the Purusharth of illusion. This is because when you get guests, but you see, when you get 10 guests, but externally you may say, welcome, welcome, but from inside you say, what the hell, why did they come at this time? So that means his Purusharth of illusion, his feelings of illusion continue, and therefore he continue to bind karma, positive or negative, life after life. The real Purusharth is the one of the one who is awakened, and therefore he will immediately correct the negative that happens in front of him in the relative, and thereby ensure his liberation on the path, his progress on the path of liberation. And if liberated, then of course it is just he is settling the files. And there is the definition of Purusharth by Dadashri. There are two types of Purusharth. There is the Purusharth of ignorance, which is I am Jeff, I am Nada. And then there is the Purusharth, which is the real Purusharth. The Purusharth meaning the progress as the S capital self, or progress as this small SCLF. The progress as the small SCLF is illusion. Progress is, and so if you become angry after having had an anger outburst, but if he really regrets it, then that is called Purusharth in the relative. Whereas if he is aware of the separation and makes the other person regret it, then it is the real Purusharth. So the real Purusharth really entails that which decreases anger, greed, deceit and pride. And then the real Purusharth is the one that is happening within, and it could be good and bad, and the knower of that is absolutely free from it and is in the real Purusharth. So this Purusharth is internal? Yes, it is internal only. Next one. What is this? The all the curious? What is when you say this is the all the trials and tribulations of the ignorant one? What does it mean? That means he is developing life after life in sansar, in the relatively worldly life. But having suffered a lot in life, he will say, I do not want to get married, I do not want to get married. So when ultimately in life brahmacharya unfolds for him, but then again when he gets a lot of beating because of celibacy, then he again changes his intentions and says it is better to get married rather than to remain single, and therefore in the next life he becomes married again. And so this is constantly going on. And so in the relative life, when he suffers, he continues to kind of go around in circles because he does not know that this negative bhavs, negative intentions really make him wander life after life. Only when he meets somebody who is spiritual, a spiritual master, not necessarily Gnani, then the person will tell you that it is better to get out of this and search for the self as to who you are. Who really makes Purusharth success? The success is gained through the Purusharth, that is with the right understanding and the right vision, U capital and V capital vision. Otherwise, if the Purusharth or the inner effort is done through the basement of ignorance, then it has zero value with reference to liberation. And when the underlying understanding of basement is that I want to become free from kashais of anger, greed, deceit and pride, and that is the correct Purusharth. And of course, if he has attained the S capital self, then of course that is the real Purusharth. 5 Agnas is the real Purusharth. Next question. Now Satish from ATPL is asking a question. Next one. By quickly reviewing a bunch of questions, about 10 papers have been handed over to him. Next one is Sirish. After Satish comes Sirish Patel. So Satish is getting ready. Where is Satish? And Deepak by looking for him now in this large hall. Now probably the microphone is being handed. We are not Jay. Now Sirish is asking the question. In this question of theory of absolutism and theorem of absolutism, 345 degrees is theory of absolutism and 360 degrees is theorem of absolutism. 356 is the theorem. Is that understanding correct? Really, says Deepak Bhai, actually 345 one becomes a Gnani, says. When you have 345 you become a Gnani, like Niruma or Deepak Bhai. So when the experience of the self arises, then at 345 you become a Gnani. And then theory of absolutism starts from there, and he has now seen in his vision the absolute self, and that is the beginning. And by 355 one becomes the theorem, and then one has become the absolute self. And then from 355 one becomes a god. At 356 one becomes into the conduct as a god, G capital, and one is experiencing the state of the absolute self only. So yes, and then at 360 he becomes the absolute self, Kevad Gnani. But in the Kramic path there is a slight difference. In the Kramic path he has attained this knowledge on the basis of the scriptures or from the Tirthankar, and slowly, step by step, he attains the Samyak Charitra, the right conduct, and then he gets the Pratiti, the conviction, and therefore by remaining in that conviction he gets the experience. So initially there is scriptural knowledge, and then there is the conviction, and then but whereas we in Akram we get the exact experience as through the experience and through the exact Pratiti, the conviction that I am the self. But Dadashri says in the Gnanvidhi I am giving you the absolute self only, because he is in the absolute self, that is why he is giving you the absolute self. But you see the Mahatmas at the Gnanvidhi from 260 or wherever they are in the relative religions come into 300 degrees, and then slowly by remaining in the 5 Agnas they rise towards the level of a Gnani at 345, and then now Sirish is repeating, he is repeating with reinforcing. So now this clear and distinct experience of the self is the beginning of the theory of absolutism, that is 340. So the clear and the distinct experience of the self begins when one becomes a Gnani at 345 degrees. So the theorem of absolutism, the state, the experience of the absolutism begins at the level of 355 degrees, at the last 5 degrees left before absolute enlightenment. This is when you come in the boundaries of Munich, you have attained, you have come to Munich, but you are still in the boundaries of Munich, but you have not entered the center of Munich, have you? And so having reached Munich, then by the time you enter your home in Munich, then you are in the theorem of absolutism. So that is next question. So Dada Bhagwan is in theorem of absolutism. No, it is not complete. He says no. Dada Bhagwan is the absolute self. He says, what is Dada Bhagwan? Dada Bhagwan does not have the theorem. Gnani Purush, the theorem of absolutism is for the Gnani Purush, does not apply to Dada Bhagwan. Dada Bhagwan is the eternal self within all. The Sirish Bhai is again getting a little confused about this. Dada Bhagwan is the 360 degrees one, not anything less than that. And anything less than that applies to the Gnani Purush who is trying to reach up to this. I mean, that is the lack of the 4 or the 5 degrees that is there. And when it is continuous and continuous and uninterrupted, that is called the state of the state. You see. And so but he says, oh, Sirish Bhai is coming, so I'm going to prolong the Gran Vidhi or etc. So in other words, that is the khatpat, that is the interference of the Gnani Purush who wanted to do Jagat Kalyan. Next one, Nick. Is Satish here? No. Satish is here or not? No. Next question. Yes, a question from Satish. It says this DharmaAdharma Atma is Mithyatva state. It is the wrong belief state. It says, and it is like being near a fireplace or an open fire in winter. In other words, when you have to move away from the open fire in winter, then will you not feel cold? So it is a temporary attachment. In other words, but you see, when you try to fan yourself with an artificial fan or some like a Japanese fan in your hand, then you'll get a little bit of a cool air, but then your hands will get tired. So as long as you are in the temple, or as long as you're in front of a spiritual master, or as long as you're in some kind of a retreat, you feel good. But then when you move away again, the world grabs you and it makes you suffer again. So this is the DharmaAdharma. Sometimes he's in front of the God, he's counting money or he's having sexual thoughts, etc. So but at least that is better than playing in the casino. What is Gachamat now? And now he wants to ask Bujo. Bujo means, now he's just asking the meaning of these Gujarati words of the Gnani. Bujo means get your work done. Get your work done. So once in other words, now Deepak is going to go ahead and give an example of what liberation means. You see, once you get your own lamp lit, once your lamp is lit, that means it will never get extinguished, because your ordinary worldly candles will get extinguished, but the lamp of the self that is lit, say in the Gnanvidhi in Oberstdorf or in Munich or wherever, it will never get extinguished. And then you have to, and having attained the awakened lamp, then you have to move forward into that I attained the self, now I need to become free from all evidences of Kashai. What is Swaparinati and Parparinati? Whatever Satish is doing, to know what Satish is doing is Swaparinati, or the state of the self. But if you believe that I am doing it, that is Parparinati. What is Sankalp? The Sankalp means mine, and I am Satish is Vikalp. These are all terminology he is trying to fulfill answers to. And when you say this little precious chair is mine, how dare you touch it? That means you have given false accusation of the S capital self onto the ego is extended to the chair. That is, in other words, you are projecting yourself. This is my car, don't touch it. This is my painting, don't touch it, etc. Next one, Dipali from Bangalore, and then next is Sashikant Shah. 2 people announced. Next, Sashikant. Dipali doesn't seem to be standing up, so Sashikant. Yes, what is the question? Deepak Shah. Deepak Bangalore. All right. Okay. All right. All right. It's not a girl, but it's a boy. Okay, let Sashikant finish, and then Deepak Shah from Bangalore. Question is, this theory of absolutism means it is the process. It is the process of absolute bigism. It is called the theory of absolutism, and once it is attained, when the result is attained, then it is called the theorem. No, not like that. Theory means the blueprint. That means this is correct. It is in the understanding, but it is not in the experience. When it comes into the experience, then it comes into the condom. When it comes into the conduct, that is called theorem. And the understanding is called the theory. But is it correct that we do not have the exact complete understanding? My question is, Dada said that I am in the theorem of absolutism. But Dada still has 4 degrees lacking. So, theorem of absolutism means he is not. It is not. Is theorem only for the 360? No. As soon as he touches the experience until he becomes absolute, then he becomes in Akram. Even at 356, he becomes the theorem. The why is there a degree? But you see, theory has begun. You can see, but until it comes into your conduct as the self, not in the conduct as Sashikant, then it is called the theorem. When it has to conduct, pure conduct as the S capital absolute self, without any evidences of the non-self, is the theorem of absolutism. So, in the theorem of absolutism begins in the Gnan Vidhi, and it ends up in when the degrees of the S capital self arise from 300 all the way up to the 355, 56. What is the next question? Agnan is not science, Gnan is science. Science is the Siddhant. Agnan is contradictory. Ignorance is contradictory, whereas science, there is no contradiction. 2H plus O, anywhere in the world, anywhere in this atmosphere, will become water only. Whereas any viewpoint related mixture of things is constantly changing. So then he says, so Siddhant means non-contradictory. Next one. Deepak Bangalore. Next one is from Deepak Bangalore. Deepak Shah Bangalore. This young man, whenever we are doing any work, everybody's space is different, their way of living is different, everyone's culture is different, everybody's thoughts are different, and when we meet, and because of that, when we meet them, the other person sustains some kind of pain and displeasure. But if the other person suffers because of your meeting him, then he will bind some kind of inner knot of grudge with you. But okay, if you don't know, he may not know, but he should. But you see, if you have the intention of not hurting anyone, then you will become more aware that you do not want to hurt on your account, you do not want to inconvenience anyone, and then it will go away. Now, I have one more question. You had said that when we take somebody else's things, and when we give somebody his things to, and when we keep it, when we take somebody's things without asking, how much demerit karma, sinful act is in there? Deepak Bhai says it all depends upon how much hurt has been caused. You see, if you are taking a broken chair away, then you are actually helping him. But if you are taking away a chair that he used to sit on, then of course it is hurting him, is it not? So it depends upon the intensity of hurt that is caused by your actions, by the stealing without asking. Stealing is that taking away without asking anything. That is called stealing. Taking anything without asking the permission. Now, thank you. So next question, after our Gnani drinks the water, is coming from not announced yet. Asha, a lady, and then Gunjan Shah, a gentleman. Now, Asha. And there were various, in the Samayik I saw different aspects of man or pride, hunger. And then, but when somebody else gets a validation, then file 1 gets more upset. When somebody else is given, then do you want to keep man, or do you want to get rid of it? Do you want to keep pride, or do you want to get rid of it? If somebody else wipes away your dirt within you, somebody washes, or somebody does your room, or somebody, the maid comes and cleans up your home, are you happy, or do you fight with the maid? If somebody is trying to clear your junk, then yes, but the ego and the intellect complex obviously is hungry for increased validation of the pride and the respect within. But you and Prajna, the awakened one, says, oh, it's good. The pride, the hunger for the pride is decreasing. The hunger for the pride and the respect is dying, is burning. But you see, there is the greed for pride, there is the deep beggary, there is a deep hunger for pride. It's like one dog fighting for the same piece of bread or the same piece of food that has been laid down. So if they, when the dogs are very hungry, they will fight each other just for the piece of food. And human beings are like this only. We are like dogs. We are fighting for a piece of, a little bit of bread that is thrown. We have attained the magnificent ocean of bliss through this magnificent Gnani, and yet we are trying to fight with other human beings, and we bite other human beings internally, trying to get validation of our own little hunger of pride, trying to feed our own little deep hunger for respect. So it is very, very, so you are now need to see this. You need to see this in inverted commas within. When somebody is respecting you, you should try to walk away from it. Please do not let me get, you should try, if it bothers you, if it creates problems for you, you should not get into the feeding of the pride. If somebody wants to validate you, respect you, bring you on the stage, bring you up front, you should say, please leave me out, please let me sit where I am. But you see, but when you are perpetually hungry and constantly feeding your pride and your respect inside, then how can you really attain the S capital self? So then you are feeding the greed of pride only. So your first step is to know that it is wrong. You need to know the 5 levels. When there is suffering, you finish it through Gnan. But if you attack the other person, then that is very dangerous, and it will never not let you extricate yourself. If one dog is biting the other one, and you do not want to also bite the one who just put the little bit of food in front of the thing. You see, and that the suffering, and when the suffering has to be seen as it is, that it, who is getting it, who is doing it, who are this, is it good for him or bad? Is man good? Is pride good? I do not want to insist on pride. I do not want to run after it. I want to study it. This man is very dangerous thing. Do people not suffer because when you don't let, when you get insulted, people get insulted, or slighted. Do they not suffer terribly? Do they not lose their sleep? So remain in your awareness, because the other side of pride is disrespect, and the people will beat your ego down, and that is the other. So do you want to continue to spin around in the cycle of respect and disrespect, and make a very firm decision that I want to get out of this thing? And so then you need to be aware, if you have hurt someone through your words and insulted their sense of their own self-worth. So, is it possible? Because as you can see it, then you can know that you are not going to go in that direction. And then is there also deception? How does deception work in pride? Supposing somebody else is being respected, then you get slighted. And do you know, are you aware that this is wrong? If you do not know this is wrong, that is called deception. That is called very deep deception. That means if he is being respected, but if you get the suffering, and if you believe that your suffering is wrong, then at least that deception is decreasing. But if you do not have even that awareness of the suffering, that the suffering is wrong, then you are in the deceit of of pride only. You are being deceived completely. You don't even know that your suffering is really your cancer within. You need to know that the suffering of the disrespect that happens to you is the disrespect, is the deception within, the deception. So you do not want to. If somebody is getting respected, you can just say it is. You can send the inner signals to him and say that, dear Lord, let him escape from this thing. This is really, he may not be getting respected, he may not be getting validated, but it is your own inner hunger for pride that you say, oh, he's being recognized, he is giving, and that is your pride. That is your hunger, that is your intense hunger, that is your intense beggary for pride. You see, you have just fed him a little piece, the dog, but sometimes, don't you see the dog following you? You have just given him a little food, but he still follows you. Then would you not feel like giving it a little stick and say, hey, shove away? Next one, Gunjan Shah and Ramesh Veraward. So now searching for Gunjan Shah here. Jai Sachidanandim. Deepak Bhai, I want to make sure that whether my understanding is correct. Initially, after the Gnan, I wanted to remain in 5 agnas. I didn't want to hurt anyone. If their bad thoughts arise, I wanted to clear them off, etc. I used to do pratikraman, but inside I was constantly worried, why is this happening to me? Or I was remorseful about it, or sometimes I could not do Samayik or Charan Vidhi, etc. And then I would feel guilty about it. But it was not natural. And then later on, and then when I see some Dada or Sirin Mahatmas, I see them, they are so simple and relaxed and easy, and therefore, then I felt like that even to be in 5 agnas is also a doership, and therefore it's some kind of doership. And then slowly, is this correct that even to when you do not follow the 5 agnas, do you feel the weight? You see, because sincerity means that you really want to be in the 5 agnas. And see, if your awareness is there that you want to remain in the 5 agnas, yes, that I want to be in 5 agnas, that is correct. But to follow 5 agnas with doership is totally wrong, and if there is suffering because of that is totally wrong. Your point is correct, that the 5 agnas should not be done through the doership, and pratikraman should not be done through the doership. Yes, 5 agnas is not vyavasthit. 5 agnas is your purusharth. It is your exact applied understanding of the awakened one and the purusharth of the P capital one, of the awakened self who is separate from the non-self. And the underlying nischay is that I am the self and I am the non-doer, and I want to establish in the exact understanding of the doer versus the knower. And doer who is absolutely separate from the knower, but I do not want to enter into the suffering of the doer. And the purusharth is to reset with U capital understanding and to proceed further after the resetting. But otherwise, the intellect will take over and say everything is vyavasthit, is it not? And so slowly he will miss out applying the 5 agnas. Everything is vyavasthit. So your nischay, your determination is very critical, has to be absolutely unyielding and strong and unflinching, whereas the lack of understanding is happening to the non-doer. I believe that 5 agnas, whether they are followed or not followed, that is whether following or not follow, yes, is vyavasthit. No. You should not say that. You should reset it again. It is whether you get food or not get food, that is vyavasthit. But at the time when you get the food, you have to have the awakened awareness I have to, that eater is eating and I am the non-eater, so that is your weakness, and to remove that weakness is your purusharth. It is not vyavasthit. To lose your awakened awareness is not part of vyavasthit. That is the weakness of your purusharth. To who is eating, who am I in this? But what comes in front of you is your vyavasthit. Next question, Deepak Bhai. in the morning there was some talk about you talked about that then look for 5 insults. Look for 5 insults in your daily life. If you get insulted 5 times is very good. So then when somebody insults you, then your Gnan will awaken. Yes, but when I get insulted, I feel good. But when I start thinking, but the relative is happening. But then the awakened awareness happens when I get insulted. But every day something new or the other is happening. So it is good, is it not? Says Deepak, yes. But it seems, but it believes that I feel as if the ego has become more sensitive. Initially, I feel that the ego was less sensitive, but now the ego is more sensitive when insults happen. Is it correct? Deepak says it is okay but you must see the one who insults you as flawless, and that he is actually helping you. Then the fault is 100% of the sufferer, and I am the pure soul. So next one is Ramesh Parekh, Verawad, and then Amit from ATPL. Speak up, please. Jai Satchidanand Deepak Bhai. After Gnan, there is no hunger for pride, but the awareness that I should not be insulted is part in the Prakriti. But how can I? And the Deepak says that you have to have the awareness that if you get insulted, then you should be happy. That means you instead of if you become very proactively aware that I should not be insulted, instead of that you should really sit in the opposition, that whether he gets insulted or respected, it has got nothing to do with me. That is more important. Don't get into this proactive preventive mode that I should not be insulted. That is the wrong approach. Next one. In my shop it happened 3-4 days ago that somebody asked me the price of the snacks. So then I replied, then I said, he says, you just increase your price, did you not? Then I just increase my price, that this is the 4th generation, we have never increased price, so please don't tell us that we have increased your price. And then I raised my voice, and then I did a lot of pratikraman. And so Deepak Bhai says, is that ego? He says, that is, so that is the man, that is the pride. You believe that you are the clean one, you are the good one, you are the honest one, and the moment somebody accused you in your shop of having raised the price, you attacked him, and therefore that is the pride, a hungry pride in you. You reacted. And if you had just said, yes, my friend, really, yes, we are doing it for my great grandfather used to tell me that, do not increase the prices no matter what happens. And we have 3 months ago we raised the price, but it was of inflation, etc. But if you do it with a cool heart, with love and with care, then it would not have hurt. But more than that, Dada said our Mahatmas are such that when they hear about somebody else, then our Mahatmas are such that they become the knower and the seer of it. And so just as you see this Ramesh Bhai answering, and it doesn't affect you in the same way, if it is happening to Nada or Uwe, or if you yourself were in France instead of Ramesh Bhai, it should not affect you. You should be seeing it as if it is happening to the first neighbor. Is it true that the one who insults you, the very same person will come to disrespect you? He says, no. Do you think? No, it could be somebody. It is the hunger. If you made the snacks, but is it the same people who have made the snacks who come to buy the snacks from you? No, it is somebody else. The one who is hungry will come and buy. Next one is from, I saw in Samayik that the way I studied the close files, there were 3 types of experiences. There are defined files, and I know that they are going to insult me, so I am automatically proactively aware. And so as I see them, so when they insult me, then I feel very good. Then there is another kind of file. Well, there is no expectation at all. They are not in my defined list that they are going to insult me. And then all of a sudden, unexpectedly, when they insult me, at that time, at that particular moment, the separation does not remain when it is on a defined file, because it is an unexpected file, and therefore again I have to reset it, and then it happens. So where am I wrong in that? How should I do the Purusharth in the unexpected files? How should I set? And Deepak Bhai says, with these people, when they climb mountains, when they are climbing a very big mountain, they are ready with all kinds of equipment and tied to their belt. They are ready for all kinds of eventualities. You see. So, and then they are such experts. They climb a very mountain or a huge vertical rock. You see, but for us, we get a little bit of a ledge. You see, and we fall down. So yes, B is the. If yes, you is when you were, but you see, but it is the real awareness is when you are ready, when it happens unexpectedly too. You see the flies and the mosquitoes are constantly aware, are they not? The moment you, even in the middle of the night, if you just slightly move your hand, they fly away, do they not? So but it doesn't really matter. You will get the experience. It is through experience. It says where if you, it said next time around, if you have not worn the armor of the protection of the Gnani, you might get hurt. But so it is the same method. Who is happening? Who is being insulted? Who is insulting? Who am I? Who is doing it? Vyavasthit. This is a file, flawless subatomic particles, Gnan. You can and learn how to see the flawless one through all of this. But if you really become Tanmayakar, TNMK, absorbed, become the body-mind form in an insult, then you have lost it there temporarily. But if they, having applied all the Gnan, if you are still burning from within, Chachartu, if you are still burning from within, then you will have to read. You need more evidences of Dada's Gnan by reading the Flawless Vision, Aptavani 9, Aptavani 2, Aptavani 6, Aptavani 5, Aptavani 8, Aptavani 7, Aptavani 13, Aptavani. Yes, Apman, if somebody is, to know the result, Apman, in Aptavani 13 it has been written that Apman or insult is ignorance, and to know ignorance is Gnan. And so, what is the difference? What is the connection between expectation and pride, please? Inside, usually those who are very close to you, have rag and attachment and apeksha or expectation and possessiveness on them. You expect them to behave in a certain way, but when they are not fulfilled, then there is an accusation, and then there is a sense of being slighted, sense of being hurt, and therefore raag-dvesh happens. It's been just as satya and asatya, truth and untruth, and dharma is duality. Is disrespect and disrespect also duality? Yes, of course, says Deepak Bhai. Yes. Do you think when a cow looks at you and it nods its head, does it mean it is respecting you? No, you're just walking. But if a cow is is nodding its head, does it mean it's doing namaskars to you? No. You see the one. But somebody says, oh, even the cow and the ox is respecting me. See, you see, he's a mani. Somebody said something. Somebody was saying something very fast in fast English, and Deepak Bhai remained very quiet, and somebody says, oh, Deepak Bhai, you remained in tremendous Gnan. Deepak Bhai says, I did not understand what he was saying in the first place. I did not know that he was cursing me or he was saying anything negatively. So it can happen too. Somebody maybe, if he is cursing you in Russian, but if you might not react, because, and people will say, wow, you are really with Rag, you are totally in Gnan. So that is not. Next question. The ego has become so sensitive, and so, but when the ego the sensitive ego, therefore, as soon as a word hits it, the higher the intellect, the more it tends to weigh the words in so many ways, and says, And like this, the meaning of this word is this, and without asking me, if somebody tries to get the meaning of this word from somebody else, that means I feel slighted. But you're trying to do so much, but the intellect is so sharp. The intellect, Dada has said that, my Dada's name is Ambalal, but if somebody does not say Ambalal Bhai because he is hard of hearing, the whole night Dada lost sleep because he could not sleep because somebody failed to address Ambalal M. Patel as Ambalal Bhai. This is the storm of the intellect. This is the storm of the intellect and the ego of pride, hunger, and the hunger for respect, validation, and propping up of the sense of the small SELF. Next one, Dinesh Goswami, and then next one is Nilima, ATPL. Next one, Dinesh. There are infinite locations of the S capital self, Anant Pradesho. What are they? Pradesh means, Anant Pradesh means, supposing there is this light, and there is all kinds of, supposing this light has got a cover, but if we spray something on it, with the subatomic particles will block that space of that light, right? And therefore the less light will come out. And so when one subatomic particle occupies one space on the self, that is called one location. That is called one location on the self. There are infinite such. There are infinite. So the veils are at the level of infinite locations of the subatomic particles on the S capital self. And so the Gnani has got many of these veils become lifted up, and the Gnani Purush has got significant level of lifting up of these veils, and then the Tirthankar Lord is absolutely without any veils over it. And so all the Pradesh, all the locations of the self have become Niravaran, unveiled Niravaran. And so then it just becomes the original Niravaran, and so Anant, and it is Anant Pradeshi Niravaran. It reflects the light of the entire universe. It reflects the entire universe in that mirror. It is the mirror without a speck of subatomic particle of karma. Bharat Bhavnagar, not Bharuch. What kind of understanding do you have? What kind of understanding do you have, Deepak Bhai? And the relative, Deepak Bhai says, these are all talks of Dada only, are they not? And it must have been less sticky for me, so it is clearing up very clearly. So if it was sticky, then intellect will mess me up too. But then slowly I would kind of keep at it until the intellect will go away, and then it will. I have also settled with my intellect, and you also have to settle with your intellect. These are only talks of Dada. The 5 Agnas is the ultimate keys of. This is to see the world as flawless is the ultimate sentence. There is nothing else in it. How can this understanding increase? By remaining in satsang. Remain in satsang. How shall come to file number 2? How can you come to satsang? Keep file 2 happy. Bring file 2. If he comes to, then you will also be able to come. Because that is all. The rest is your intellect that is left. And for that, there is only one. Just catch something simple. I want to, no matter what happens, I want to see the other person flawless. And faultless and flawless. But by seeing the other person at fault, the veils will come over you like heavy clouds. And by seeing the faults of your own, they will all go away. Next one, Bharat from Bharuch, Bhavnagar. Bharat from Bhavnagar. We are getting darshan of Mahatmas here. Let us see the pure souls in everyone who stands up to ask question, and the others that you see in this video. I came late, and therefore I kind of missed the chapter. I don't understand it. Relative is the viewpoint, and in each viewpoint there are hundreds of thousands of people. Yes, that is true. There are how many people are going after Srinathji, which is a form of Lord Krishna, and then there are another 100,000 who are doing worshipping another form of Lord Krishna, right? Or another Lord who has become a Gnani. So those who have come to a certain viewpoint, they only like Srinathji, another one likes Yoga Krishna, another likes Bala Krishna, the child Krishna, etc. So he has just, so once he gets his viewpoint, he tends to get stuck there for a while. So there is one thought, people tend to get stuck at a certain level of thought, and so then there are in 100,000 currently right now Anna Hazare is very popular, so 100,000 thousands and millions are getting excited by his talk. But when we hear about it, we say, yes, that is all happening, yes, it's good, but what am I supposed to do about it? And so but we then are upset about the son who is not studying well, etc. So everybody is in his viewpoint, and one's viewpoint makes one emotional. Next question, Deepak bhai. When we do how can we do repeated pratikraman of the sticky file? We know that Niruma used to do 500 pratikramans a day. How can we do 500 pratikramans of the same file again and again? When your soup is salty, do you not get upset with your wife, and do you not bicker with your wife, tell her bad words? And so then you have to look at all the aspects of it makes you do that. So then you can say that you have to take every sentence that you see, every opinion you have about her, every time you have said negative things about it, all your illusory attachment about the food, all your illusory attachment about soup, temperature and taste and salt, etc. All of this really cause hurt to file 2, and so therefore directly not, therefore you can see all the evidence. You always tell her, I'm not going to eat this, you eat this, why do you keep serving me this, etc. And all of those opinions pile up, so in the end you end up hurting her verbally. You see, I'm pure soul, and this is all happening to Bharat. So Sip tell Bharat, these are your opinions, and whatever happens is part of SCE only. Only 4 times in a month the soup or the dal may be salty, but other times it comes. So just settle it with equanimity. Don't hurt her. She has made it with so much. Pujyashri, the next question is, when the Gnan prevails, the mind quietens down, but after a little while the mind takes up again, the old stuff starts arising. Deepak bhai says, of course, and then again the restlessness will. So Deepak bhai says, out of 50 layers, 1 layer has gone, but the 49 layers are still remaining. So again through application of Gnan, 48, 47, 46, they will start decreasing. And there are certain times you are able to convert it and cover it up. Even if it arises, you can cover it up, and you can revert from it without really being affected by it. And so we are all progressing. Okay, let us take the Samayik now. Let us take the analysis of the Samayik. We will take the questions tomorrow, the remaining questions. In the Samayik today, we are talking today about the Samayik on dharma. Today we have with people of a belief of a certain religion, they do viradna, they talk negatively about the religion of others, or if our son or daughter of our relatives are going in that religion, then we say, why are you going there, that is wrong. So we have all kinds of negative opinions. This is good, this is bad, ours is correct, the other one is wrong, ours is superior, theirs is inferior. So we have all kinds of errors and very big mistakes, and a lot of raag-dvesh happens on the basis of religion. And so we have dwesh over adharma, abhorrence over lack of religion, and raag towards your own religion, etc. These are all carry over from what was exactly happening in the last life, and now again when it is unfolding in this life. No matter what happens, even if he does the worst thing, you should not have any dwesh over it. If your son is not into religion or into the path of liberation at all, you should not have any kind of negativity about it. You can send the silent positive signals to the pure soul within him, but you should become free from the dwesh bhav, which is the inner feelings of aversion. You know, when somebody steals something minor, you become so upset about it just because you don't steal, that you even want to beat him up. And that is but if somebody who is very good, that you become virtually attracted to him, and you get into the illusory attraction towards him. And so you want to become free from the good and the bad, and you want to become free from the relative goods and the bad things that happens in life. And then ultimately we go into dharma in terms of the relative religions, and we want to go into the spiritual masters, and in Negri talk about spiritual masters. And when you have become the opponent of some spiritual master because you hate him, you sent hate mails, or you have done kind of talked backbitten, or if you have talked negatively behind his back, etc., you need to come away from it. So rise into these levels of column 2 of Gnani Purush Dadashri, and we were separating the religion. Right now, karma, currently we are focusing on the religion. We had a lot of wrong beliefs on religion. We can see, we hear about that. Any religious matter, if there is anything, any negative feelings about, we see here on the TV or on the internet something wrong about a spiritual master, etc. You see, we have to be very careful. We need to wipe it off in some way, because he has that spiritual master has his own celestial guardians, and so they will cause obstructions on you, and therefore they will cause veils over your own gnan, on your own vision. And so it is very critical that you kind of wipe it off in the exactness of this vision. Just because 3 or 4 students fail in a college doesn't mean that the teacher of that college is wrong. And we do not want to do rag or dvesh in this that is unfolding in the relative life. And so in this Samayik, we want to go deep into this. Sometimes we compare, we say, oh, our Dada is so good, and see the other person. So we compare our Dadashri with other spiritual leaders. Why do you need to get into this at all? Because all of these other people are entering into our college only because the college of Dadashri is the college of the eternal self. It is not a physical or a boundary laden university, is it? And so everyone in every other religion is really getting ready for the college of the S capital self of Gnani Purush Dadashri. And so it is not worth saying anything that which hurts anyone directly or indirectly through your words, especially in matters of religion, in a subtle manner, through subtle vibrations, does reach them, and through your subtle approach and subtle non-verbal behavior also hurts people who are believers of other spiritual masters and other faiths, and you do not need to enter into that kind of conversation at all. And so now we have been talking about all this, and when you hear about all kinds of negative things about all the spiritual masters, sexual things, sexual deceits, or greed, money issues, etc., you need to wipe it off, because it came out and your role was there as a nimit through your medium as it unfolds, because you want to become free from this. You want to become absolutely liberated, so you do not want to go there at all. You do not want to go in that direction at all, and therefore see them as the pure one and see them as their junk that is unfolding in there. And if you can remain in that awareness, then your next life will be free from such. Otherwise you will have to face the same in the next life. Otherwise your clouded vision will continue into the next life. So it is very critical that you become free from this now. So if you have got something very precious, if you have a very precious diamond, if it falls into the toilet, do you not pick it up? Your vision is on the diamond itself. Does it matter whether it got stained with stools? Or it's in the same way. So you see, within every human being is the pure diamond of the S capital self, and the rest is junk only, or it may be flowers. And do not get very, very happy, and do not become very pleased and attached towards the flowers, and do not really become very averse when the most dirtiest junk that is coming out in the relative. So these people who are doing work in their relative work in the religion are not wrong. They are through their intents trying to do their best with these given circumstances that they have, and when they come to the level of where they are seeking a gnani, they will attain the gnani and move forward. Therefore, the religion, and so the intellect is the biggest. The intellect has got its beliefs and it has got its opinions, and it starts saying the negative, and therefore, it starts talking negatively about religion and people in relative religions and relative religious spiritual. And then in religion there are all kinds of divisions. In Jain Dharma there are Sthanakvasis and Theravadis, Digambaris and Sthanakvasis. There are so there are all kinds. And so within the same religion, like in Jain or in Christian, there are the Episcopalians and the Lutherans and the Mormons and the Jehovah's Witnesses, etc. But you see, they are correct from their viewpoints, and we need to look at it from the very positive aspect of it. Let us take Samayik and Dharma and Samayik. We have Rag towards Dharma, and we have Dwesh towards Adharma. We have Rag towards that which is helpful, and we have Dwesh towards that is hurtful, and we need to do tremendous amount of pratikraman and do pratyakyan, a decision never to do this again. And like if there is all kinds, no matter what kind of news you may hear about a spiritual master or a major spiritual head of a major spiritual organization, it should not touch an iota of a subatomic particle within you. It should not touch you at all. It should not affect you at all. And on the contrary, you need to. And that is called becoming free from it. That is remaining the self, and that is the escape from this thing. And so this is the second column of Gnani Purush Dadashri, very critical. This is where it is being violated. And so let us do the Samayik on this thing, please. And when you read in the newspaper, when you hear in the TV, then when you hear, so you have to sit down and say, I do not want to think about it. I do not want to be the nimit that propagates it. I don't want to talk about it to somebody else. I do not, and that is called the animalistic joy that you experience. You get a secret pleasure. You see, because there was an underlying dwesh towards that person, you didn't like him, and then when he is exposed in public, there is animalistic pleasure experienced at the relative level. That is called Pashavi Anand, and that is the wrong kind of pleasure experience. But really, the person is the pure soul. He is the flawless one. His evidence is our search that this happened in the relative. So this is, let us now, until now, whether it is before awakening or after awakening, before the Gnanvidhi or after the Gnanvidhi, wherever this has happened, we need to take it specially in Samayik and become free. Negativity, errors, and Viradhana Bhav, talking badly. Oh Dada Bhagwan, the Samayik begins, the self within me. Dear Lord Simandar Swami Prabhu, the fully enlightened one, with the exact applied awareness of the S capital self, in matters of any religion where there is negative intent or positive intent or attachment or aversion, or when any other relative religion something bad happens, and if there is any for the negative intentions that arise for the religious masters and the religious workers of that particular organization, and the errors arises, let me see it in separation in Samayik, and let me do the exact pratikramans for let me make the other person do the exact pratikramans for it, and let me do the exact Samayik, and in future let me never have any negative activity through mind, speech and body, through and wrong approach towards any religion in future, not to have such errors towards anyone, and let me do such great pratyakyans and to do such a Samayik, my Lord. In the real, all are pure souls. In the relative, they are flawless and faultless. by their viewpoint, they are correct from their viewpoint, and let me set the awareness, awakened awareness of the five agnas, and let me wipe off all the faults that have happened in matters of religion. And let me do such a Samayik and grant me the energy. I surrender the mind, speech and body, the all illusions associated with the mind, speech and body, my name, bhav karma, charge karma, dravya karma, subtle discharge karma, no karma, gross discharge karma. O Dada Bhagwan, the Supreme Self within me, I surrender them unto your divine feet. I am surrendering them all, my Lord. I am pure soul, I am pure soul. I am Shuddhatma Chu, 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 Shuddhatma Chu. Ich bin reine Seele, 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 ich bin reine Seele. Oh Shuddhatma Chu, I am pure soul, I am pure soul, I am pure soul, I am pure soul, pure soul, I am pure soul. Oh Shuddhatma Chu, 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 Shuddhatma Chu. Jai Sachidanand, the awareness of eternal is bliss. Jai Sachidanand. Go deep into the Samayik. Jai Sachidanand. End of the first day session of Aptavani 4 Parayan, August 25th, 2011. Jai Sachidanand. Thank you everyone. Jai Sachidanand. Shuddhatma Bhagavan. Jai Sachidanand.